wake up every day hoping something will change. But deep down, you already know the truth. If nothing changes in how you live, nothing will change in what you receive. Most people say they want change, but what they really want is a different result from the same behavior. They wake up, live the day exactly as they did yesterday, react the same way, think the same thoughts, speak the same words, and then wonder why life feels stuck. This is not confusion, this is denial. You cannot repeat the same patterns and expect a different future. Life is not ignoring you, it is reflecting you. Look closely at your days, not your dreams, not your intentions, but your actual routines. How you wake up, how you use your time, how you respond when things do not go your way. These small moments are not small at all. They are votes for the life you are living. And when those votes never change, the outcome cannot change either. Many people believe change is something that arrives suddenly, like luck or opportunity. They wait for motivation, for clarity, for the right moment. But the right moment never comes to someone who keeps living on autopilot. Patterns are powerful. They quietly shape your identity. If every time you feel uncomfortable you distract yourself, then distraction becomes your identity. If every time you fail you quit, then quitting becomes your identity. Life simply treats you according to the identity you practice daily. You may say, but I am trying. Trying is vague. Patterns are precise. Trying does not break habits. Awareness and action do. You must be honest enough to see where you are repeating yourself. Same excuses, same shortcuts, same emotional reactions. The world does not care about your desire to change. It responds only to what you consistently do. This is why reflection is uncomfortable, because it forces you to admit that the prison door has been open the whole time. You are not trapped by circumstances as much as by familiarity. The familiar feels safe, even when it is slowly destroying you. So you choose it again and again, without realizing that each choice reinforces the same result. Change begins the moment you interrupt the pattern. Not with a big decision, but with a small, deliberate one. You pause before reacting. You choose discipline instead of comfort. You do the thing you usually avoid. This moment feels insignificant, but it is not. It is a signal to life that something has shifted. At first, it will feel unnatural. Your mind will resist. It will say, this is not you, and it is correct. It is not the old you. That is the point. If you want a different life, you must be willing to act like someone you are not yet comfortable being. Do not underestimate the power of repetition. The same way your old habits built your current life, new habits will build a new one. But you must be patient. Results lag behind actions. This is where most people give up. They change briefly, see no immediate reward, and return to what feels familiar. And once again, nothing changes. If you want your life to shift, stop negotiating with your patterns. Decide which ones no longer serve you and cut them off at the root. Not tomorrow, not gradually in your mind. Today, in action. Because the moment your patterns change, your future begins to move. Many people believe they are changing simply because they are thinking about change. They analyze their life, reflect on their problems, and talk about what they should do differently. This creates the feeling of progress, but it is only movement in the mind, not movement in life. Thinking is safe, action is risky. And because thinking feels productive, you mistake it for transformation. You sit with your thoughts and say, I understand myself better now. You watch, listen, and learn. You collect insights like tools, but you never pick them up. The mind enjoys this because it feels in control without being tested. There is no failure in thinking, there is no discomfort. So the mind keeps you there, convincing you that awareness alone is enough. It is not. Understanding why you are stuck does not free you from being stuck. Knowing the path does not move your feet. You can describe discipline perfectly and still live without it. You can speak about calmness and still react emotionally. This gap between knowing and doing is where most lives quietly stagnate. the danger is subtle. The more you think, the more intelligent your excuses become. You say, I need more clarity. I need to heal first. I will start when I feel ready. These sound wise, but they delay action. Readiness is not a feeling that arrives. It is a decision you make despite uncertainty. Real change begins when thought ends and execution starts. Not perfectly, not confidently, just deliberately. The body must be involved. The breath must be trained. The habits must be practiced. Change is physical before it is philosophical. If your life does not look different, then your thinking has not translated into action. You may feel tired from thinking so much. That is because the mind was never meant to carry the weight of change alone. Thinking prepares the direction. Action builds the structure. Without action, thought turns into mental noise, looping the same ideas again and again. This creates frustration, self-doubt, and eventually hopelessness. Another illusion is planning. Planning feels like control. You design schedules, strategies, and future versions of yourself. But plans that never meet action become fantasies. Life only responds to what you practice today, not what you imagine tomorrow. When you finally act, it will feel uncomfortable and clumsy. You will not feel aligned or inspired. That discomfort is the sign that you have left the world of theory and entered reality. The ego does not like this, because now results are visible, now effort is required, now excuses are exposed. Do not wait for your thoughts to agree with your actions. Train your actions and your thoughts will follow. Move the body, and the mind will adjust. Do the work, and clarity will come later. Stop asking yourself why change is hard. Start asking yourself where you are replacing action with thought. Because the moment thinking becomes practice, your life begins to shift. One of the deepest reasons nothing changes is not fear, not lack of knowledge, not even lack of ability. It is comfort. Comfort is quiet, persuasive, and dangerous because it does not feel like an enemy. It feels like safety. You tell yourself you are fine, that things could be worse, that there is no urgency, and slowly, without resistance, your potential falls asleep. Comfort convinces you to stay where you are by lowering your standards. You stop asking for more from yours. LF. You accept routines that numb you instead of challenging you. You scroll, distract, delay, and call it rest. Real rest restores you. Comfort only softens you until effort feels painful. The mind becomes addicted to predictability. Known suffering feels safer than unknown growth. You would rather stay in a situation that drains you than step into one that demands more of you. Not because you are weak, but because the body and mind prefer what is familiar. And so you build a life that feels easy but empty. Comfort slowly reshapes your identity. You begin to say things like, "This is just how I am," or "I am not built for that," or "It is too late for me." These are not truths. These are defenses. Comfort speaks through them to protect itself. The moment you believe these stories, you stop trying, and the prison door quietly locks from the inside. You must understand this clearly. Comfort and growth do not coexist. Every meaningful improvement in your life will ask you to leave what feels safe. Discipline is uncomfortable. Training is uncomfortable. Honest self-examination is uncomfortable. But discomfort is not a signal to stop. It is a signal that you are expanding beyond who you were yesterday. Many people wait for discomfort to disappear before they act. It never does. Discomfort fades only after you move through it, not before. If you avoid it, it grows stronger. If you face it, it weakens. This is the law of growth. Comfort also steals time without you noticing. Days blend together. Weeks disappear. Years pass. You look back and wonder where life went. Nothing dramatic went wrong. That is the tragedy. Nothing happened because you chose what was easy over what was necessary, again and again. Breaking free from comfort does not require drastic change. It requires honest interruption. Wake up when you do not feel like it. Train when the mind negotiates. Speak the truth when silence feels safer. Choose the harder option in small moments. These choices feel insignificant, but they redefine who you are becoming. At first your mind will resist. It will create excuses. It will remind you how comfortable things are. Do not argue with it. Act anyway. Discipline is not a debate. It is a decision repeated daily. If your life feels stuck, ask yourself not what is wrong, but where you have become too comfortable. Because the life you want exists just beyond the comfort you keep protecting. Another reason nothing changes is because responsibility is avoided, not rejected openly, but quietly handed over to fate, luck, timing, or other people. You say things like, "This is just how life is," or "It was not meant to be," or "When circumstances improve, I will improve." These statements sound calm, even wise, but they are disguises. They remove you from the center of your own life. When you blame something outside yourself, you feel lighter for a moment. The weight is gone, but so is your power. Responsibility is heavy, yes, but it is the only plaque. Where change lives. If everything is controlled by fate, then effort becomes meaningless. And when effort feels meaningless, you stop trying. Many people confuse responsibility with self-blame. They are not the same. Responsibility does not mean judging yourself or carrying guilt. It means recognizing where your influence begins. You may not control where you started, what happened to you, or who disappointed you, but you control how you respond now. And that response shapes everything that follows. The mind resists responsibility because it removes excuses. Once you accept that your choices matter, you can no longer hide. Every delay becomes a decision. Every distraction becomes a preference. This is uncomfortable because it demands honesty, but honesty is the foundation of strength. Look at how easily responsibility is redirected. If you fail, you blame circumstances. If you succeed, you credit effort. This imbalance keeps you stuck. Growth begins when you reverse this pattern. When something does not work, instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I do differently next time?" That question alone shifts you from victim to student. Fate is often used to protect the ego. If something was destined, then you were never required to change. But life does not reward belief, it responds to action. Even discipline is a form of belief practiced through effort. You show life who you are by what you do repeatedly, not by what you hope for. Responsibility also means accepting that no one is coming to save you. This sounds harsh, but it is freeing. Waiting for rescue keeps you passive. Accepting responsibility makes you active. The moment you stop waiting, you start building. At first, responsibility feels overwhelming. You see all the areas where you were avoiding effort. Do not collapse under this awareness. Use it. Take one area and bring order to it. Train your body, organize your time, control your reactions. Small acts of responsibility restore confidence because they prove to you that change is possible. People who grow are not luckier. They are more honest. They do not hide behind fate when things go wrong. They adjust, they learn, they persist. This is not talent, this is ownership. If nothing in your life is changing, look closely at where you have surrendered responsibility and called it acceptance. Because the moment you take responsibility, your life stops being something that happens to you and becomes something you shape. Many people desire transformation, but they secretly reject the process that creates it. They want change without discomfort. They want strength without struggle, peace without discipline, confidence without exposure to failure. This is not how growth works. Discomfort is not a side effect of transformation, it is the price. The mind naturally avoids pain. It looks for shortcuts, for easier paths, for ways to improve without being challenged. This is why motivational moments feel good, but fade quickly. They promise change without demanding endurance. Real change does not excite you. It tests you. When discomfort appears, most people interpret it as a warning. They think something is wrong. that they are not ready, that this path is not meant for them. In truth, discomfort often appears because you are finally doing something right. You are stretching beyond your limits. You are leaving familiarity. Growth feels unstable before it feels empowering. Consider physical training. The muscle grows only after it is stressed. Mental strength is no different. Emotional resilience is built by facing what you would rather avoid. If you retreat the moment it becomes difficult, you train weakness, not strength. This is where many confuse self-care with self-protection. Rest is necessary, but avoidance is not rest. Comfort disguised as care keeps you fragile. True care challenges you to become capable, not comfortable. Discomfort also exposes your discipline. When things feel easy, anyone can continue. When resistance appears, only those committed to growth stay. This is why discomfort becomes a filter. It separates those who want results from those who only like the idea of results. You may notice how quickly the mind negotiates. Just today, take it easy. You can do it tomorrow. You deserve a break. Sometimes this is true. Often it is fear speaking softly. Fear rarely shouts. It whispers logic, and if you listen long enough, it keeps you exactly where you are. Learning. To sit with discomfort is a skill. You do not need to like it. You only need to tolerate it. Breathe through it. Stay present. Continue anyway. Each time you do, your capacity expands. What once felt unbearable becomes manageable. What once felt impossible becomes normal. Many people wait for confidence before they act. Confidence comes after repeated exposure to discomfort, not before. Action builds confidence. Endurance builds belief. If you want a different life, you must accept that parts of the process will feel heavy, uncertain, and slow. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are building something real. Do not ask for an easier path. Ask for the strength to walk the difficult one, because the discomfort you avoid today becomes the limitation you live with tomorrow. The final reason nothing changes is because most people rely on motivation instead of consistency. Motivation is emotional. It rises when you feel inspired and disappears when you feel tired, bored, or challenged. If your actions depend on how you feel, your progress will always be unstable. Life does not reward intention, it rewards repetition. You feel motivated after a powerful moment, a realization, a speech, a promise to yourself. You say, "This time is different." For a few days, maybe even a few weeks, you act with intensity. Then life interrupts. The excitement fades. Resistance appears. And because the feeling is gone, the action stops. This cycle repeats so often that people begin to doubt themselves, not realizing the problem was never discipline, only dependence on emotion. Consistency is quiet. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself. It shows up on ordinary days when nothing feels special. It acts even when the mind complains. This is why it is powerful. Consistency does not need motivation. It needs commitment. Small actions done daily shape your identity far more than rare moments of intensity. Training for 10 minutes every day will change you more than training hard once a week. Speaking calmly in one difficult moment each day builds more control than one big emotional breakthrough. Life is built in these small repetitions. The mind resists consistency because it wants quick results. When progress is slow, it questions the effort. Is this even working? This is where most people stop. They cannot see the change yet, so they assume it is not happening. But growth is often invisible before it is undeniable. Consistency requires patience. You must trust the process before it rewards you. This is difficult because modern life trains you to expect instant feedback. But meaningful change operates on a different timeline. The discipline you practice today may only show results weeks or months later. If you quit early, you never meet the version of yourself that consistency would have created. Another reason people avoid consistency is because it removes excitement. You cannot rely on novelty. you must rely on structure. Structure feels restrictive at first, but it becomes freedom. When your habits are stable, your mind becomes calm. You no longer debate whether to act, you simply act. Consistency also builds self-respect. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, trust grows. Each time you break it, confidence weakens. Over time, this internal trust determines how much you believe in your ability to change. You do not need more motivation. You need fewer negotiations with yourself. Decide once, then repeat. Because when consistency becomes your way of living, change is no longer something you chase. It is something you become.